Alrighty, so welcome this morning, or this afternoon now, excuse me. This is week 4 of our crisis response series. We're talking about bridges today. You may have noticed if you registered early that I'm not saying anything about other online resources. We decided that deserved its own session, so we'll be doing that later.
Hey, Eunice.
Yes.
On my screen, I see the presentation behind. Oh, there we go. Yep, there you go.
It's okay.
That's what I
Things
thought
are
you probably
being
wanted.
strange today. I'm going to restart this because it's not behaving itself on my screen right now.
So while Eunice is doing that, I'll tell you what she was just going to start to say.
Please
and that
do.
is, we originally intended this to, or we thought we wanted to do all of our online resources and sort of give you a look into the variety of things that you can be doing now during these times when you're home and not able to do your regular jobs. And so we were going to talk about all of the online resources. There's no way we can do that in a half an hour. So today we will be focusing on bridges. And then next week, and I think Sam will probably wrap us up with this a little bit later, we will be working and looking at some of the other online resources. So today's conversation is going to only be about bridges. So if you want to wait and come back next week, you're welcome to, but otherwise be prepared for half an hour of bridges.
And we will try to maintain it a half hour because as any of you who have had a conversation with me about bridges, I can talk about bridges in my sleep. So we'll try not to drone on too long. So first of all, I wanted to start off, have you seen something like this in your email lately? If you haven't, you need to send me your email address. This is how you'll be receiving most of your bridges announcements, not on a regular schedule. It's not a frequent thing, at least not normally. So don't worry, it's not going to clog your inbox. But if you haven't seen it, you need to be on the list. One of the things that we think could help you better serve your patrons in this time that you're closed is going ahead and using Overdrive Advantage. If you haven't already, if you're not familiar with it, this allows you to buy ebooks, audiobooks, and videos for your patrons to borrow from bridges. You can have an immediate effect on your patrons by purchasing the things that they're on hold for or that they're requesting. Signing up is really easy. It's just a one-page form that you fill out, and you are required to put a $250 payment into a deposit account in Overdrive that will support your shopping for a little while. And then if you are doing that, you sign up as new or you're doing it already, I'd really ask that you consider adding Advantage Plus, which is more like interlibrary loan. That allows you to share the things that you've bought for your patrons back out to the rest of the consortia. Your patrons will always have dibs, and the circulation stats will reflect your ownership, but it helps everyone by making more copies available in the system. With that, titles don't just sit on your shelf gathering dust, so to speak, when your patrons have finished reading them. This is all it takes to share your Advantage titles with the rest of Bridges. It's a one-page thing. You pick your settings. I'm not going to go step by step through this. This is just to give you an idea, but you can decide what you want to share, what type of license, or by what time frame. All of the control is yours. Me, of course, I want everybody to share everything, but that's me. It's all up to you. Simultaneous use, always available. I tend to use those terms interchangeably, and I hope I haven't confused you with that. These are ebook and audiobook licenses that allow an unlimited number of users to check titles out at the same time. Similar to what they do with the big library read selections. Sounds great, right? Well, of course, there's a reason we don't buy them very much. They're really expensive. They are good for making sure they're always books ready to be checked out. So right now we've added more to the collection than we have for some time, just to make sure with the increasing usage that there are things available for people to check out. Some of these editions have been special offerings from publishers to help people get through the crisis, which has been great. Sorry, there isn't going to be a list. There are too many titles with too many different expiration dates. The collection that Duke Classics alone has made available as a special deal has over 4,000 items in it. You can find these titles by looking at the item record, and it will say always available if that's the case. And I am trying to highlight these titles on the main pages of all the various reading rooms, the main one, the kids room, the teens room. And magazines, of course, are always, and always have been, always available. These are some of the people that we have to thank for the increased number of always available titles. We've purchased some regular ones, but a lot of the things we have been special deals by the publishers, like Duke Classics and the Harry Potter book. Unfortunately, only the first one, Source Books. Some of them have made things that we already owned retroactively always available for a month. Others are doing special purchases. It's all over the board. And also we have the state librarian to thank for helping us buy some additional ones without dipping into the regular Bridges budget. So that's been great. Okay, so for those of you who use the state library's server for your patrons to authenticate their Bridges use, have you updated your patron numbers lately? If you haven't sent numbers to me since, say, 2012, you've probably got patrons who can't log in right now that they're interested and motivated. So it would be a good thing to send me an updated list. This is all it takes. Just a list of your current valid user numbers in a plain text file, a spreadsheet, Word document. I cannot accept them in a PDF, however. It has to be something that I can manipulate. And if it's been a long time, it would probably be a good thing for you to send me a completely new list and we'll start over again. That way we're not missing anyone and we've got the people who should be able to use Bridges from your library. On a side note, I'll be updating to a new server system in the next few months. So if I don't get an update from you now, I'll be needing it soon anyway. So just do it now. And contact me if you have any questions. That's my thing. Everybody else is going to say, you need to talk to Eunice about that. And now we're up to Misty.
Okay, and so there was a question in the chat about, what do I call this? Do I call it Overdrive? Do I call it Bridges? Do I call it Libby? So the answer is yes, but let me explain that just a little bit. So Overdrive is the company that all of this comes from. And so Bridges is our specific collection. So that's Iowa's collection of materials on Overdrive. So your patrons are interacting with Overdrive through Bridges. But how do they do that? They're probably using one of these apps. So I'm going to talk about the two most common, or the two apps that you can use. You can also go to the website, but I'm going to talk about the features of the two apps available to access Bridges, which are the Libby app and the Overdrive app. And the list in the middle of the features that I looked at, and I'm not going to spend much time talking about these features here because I'm going to cover them more in depth on the next two slides. And so I'm ready. Are you going to move us forward, Eunice? Or did you?
I probably will. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Spaced you off. You're ready for the next one. There we go.
Okay, I am. Okay, so this is Libby. And so this is the newest app that is there to provide access to materials that our patrons can access through Bridges. If your patron prefers an easy platform or they're tech challenged, I would suggest maybe you point them toward Libby. Libby's a little bit easier to use. And then I wanted to go through the features, and I want to clarify that these ratings are assigned by me. So this is how I feel that these apps do on these particular features. Somebody else might look at these features and completely disagree with my assessment, and that's okay. But I'm showing you how I felt the two apps compare. And so, really for adaptability, the capability to change fonts or sizes or the size of the font for eBooks is available through Libby. You can do all kinds of changes. You can make all kinds of changes to those fonts for whatever needs you might have or your patron might have. The checkout period, you can change how long you want to check something out for at the point of checkout, but you don't have the ability in Libby to change the default setting. That's a setting on the website. The history feature is not available in Libby unless you're vigilant. I mean, I guess you could say, if you are vigilant about using tags and you tag every item that you've read, then you would have a pretty reliable history of what you've read, but the true history that's on the website, you don't have access to that. Managing holds, it's a fully available feature on Libby. You can rate titles, but you can only give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's not the full rating feature that's available on the website, so just kind of keep that in mind. For reading speeds, if your patrons are listening to audiobooks, this is a fully available feature on Libby. Patrons can change the playback speed of an audiobook to whatever they desire. They can make it faster, they can make it slower. For recommendations, patrons cannot make recommendations through Libby. So that's good for our allotted budget for recommendations, on the building side, but not so great if patrons are seeing gaps in our collection because they can't make recommendations through Libby. They'd have to go to the website. For renewing items, this feature is fully available under Managing Loans. And returning early, this feature is also available under Managing Loans in the app. For settings, this feature is not available on Libby. You have to go to the website for that. Switching between cards. This is really easy for Libby. So let's say you're a family of 4 and everybody uses the same device to access their Bridges materials. Libby allows you to seamlessly move between cards, so if you've got your kiddos' picture books on your kiddos' account, it's easy to a kid's account. They make that process really easy. For tagging, patrons can tag items and they have 3 options. They can give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or there's a stack of books to indicate that they want to read that item. And then you can look at those items based on how you tag them. And then that last item is a wish list, and this feature is not available on Libby. It is only available through the website. And I do want to note that Libby cannot stream videos. So if your patrons are wanting to stream a video, they need to use the website or the app. And I'm ready for my next slide. Okay, and so now the Overdrive app has been available for years. Many longtime Bridges users, if they were using Bridges back when it was Neighbors and Wilbur, they might prefer it to Libby because they've used it for a long time. I personally do prefer the Overdrive app because it has more features available. And really that's because simply it connects seamlessly with the Bridges website, and so you have that access. That's why. It's not necessarily that there are necessarily more built-in features into the app itself. It's just that it easily allows you to launch into the website and access those other little key pieces that you might want to access. And so while having a lot of features might be great, it can also overwhelm your less tech-savvy patrons. So just kind of keep that in mind. You don't want to overwhelm people with a ton of options if all they want to do are these, few things. So as you can see, I rated this one pretty highly, and that's because it directly connects to that website. So you do have the ability to access so many things directly from on the website from the Overdrive app. And that is not true with the Libby app. With the Libby app, it kind of contains you within the app. It allows you to select materials and all that kind of stuff from the app itself. And so it's not the full website that it allows you to access. So there is that difference there. So as you can see, most features are fully available in the Overdrive app. I did mark renewing items a little bit lower because in our discussions, we talked as we were preparing this presentation, we thought that renewing items through Libby was a little bit easier. And I wasn't able to recreate that, but I believe that would be true, or possibly be true. But you can renew with either of the apps, whichever one you choose to use, you can renew with it. And then one feature that the Overdrive app does not have is tags, because because you interact directly with the Bridges website, and so you have access to your history, and you also have access to a wish list. So they have just a different way for you to interact. So I think for the Overdrive app, one of the nicest features about it is that it does connect fairly seamlessly with the website, so that you can do a lot of those things that you might not be able to do in the Libby app. Okay, so I think we're ready for okay, so there have been some changes that have been made to how holds are readied, and so I'm just going to walk you through those changes. When a hold is ready, an email like the one on the screen is sent to the patron. This part is the same, but the options the patron has for checking out the hold has changed. As the email notes, the patron has 72 hours or 3 days to make a decision on borrowing the item. Previously, if the patron did not check out the item within that 72-hour window, the hold would be removed from their account completely, and that has changed. So so now the patron will receive an additional 72 hours to make a decision as a courtesy. Maybe their internet glitched, or who knows what happened, but they have another 72 hours to make a decision. And then if the patron doesn't check out or make do something to their account at that point, then the hold moves on to the next person in line, and then the person that had the hold ready, they move to getting it next when it's available again. And and if the patron isn't ready to check out that item, they can go into their account and have it delivered later. Okay, so and then the next slide is going to kind of show you how that happens. So there's two ways to manage your holds on Libby. The first is by clicking on the Libby icon in the top right of the patron's shelf in the Libby app, and the notification of the ready hold will appear, and the patron can check it out from there. If the patron wants to have the item delivered later, or they want to do something different other than borrowing it, then they need to go to their hold shelf. And if click again, there we go. That is the hold shelf. And so another way to claim the hold is to click on holds on on your patron's shelf, and then from there the patron can check the item out, they can have it delivered later, or they can remove the hold. And it'll give the patron all of those options when they're there. They can make all those decisions at that time. All right, now we're going to switch over to holds on Overdrive. So there are two ways to manage a hold on the Overdrive app too. So after going to Bridges from the app menu or clicking Add a Title, the patron can click on the reminder bell icon on the home page, and the reminder bell icon is always there, but it moves and has a green light next to it when it wants to tell you something. And when you click on that reminder bell icon, patrons can make decisions by, it'll provide that box where it says you can borrow or deliver later or to remove the hold. So they'll have those options right there. The other option is to claim the hold by going to their holds. And so they just click on My Account from the drop menu, and from there they can check the item out, have the item delivered later, remove the hold. And one of the nice features that's just recently happened is your readied holds move up to the top of your list. Used to, you had to kind of search for it, or at least you did in the Overdrive app. Now it goes up to the top, which I think is much more user friendly. All right, and we're also going to talk about suspending holds. So, so if you want to suspend a hold in Libby, you can you go to holds on your patron shelf, and then from there, you click on Manage Hold for the title that you want to suspend, and then you click on Suspend Hold. And then if you want to click from a unit, yep. And so then it'll pull up this little thing here where you just move the slider to the number of days you want to suspend your hold, and then you click on Update Hold to finish, and then it won't ready that hold for at least the number of days that you indicate. Libby also allows you to suspend all your holds at once. This is unlikely to be needed very often, but it's kind of convenient if you've decided that you're not going to be able to access your account for a period of time or something like that. So to do this, the patron clicks on Actions on the patron shelf, and they click on Suspend All Holds. And then from there, the patron just moves the slider. There's that little slider on the far right. You just move that however many days you want to suspend your holds. You click Update Holds and you finish. And just please note that if you do it this way, you are suspending all of your holds for at least the number of days that you indicate. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then you can also suspend your holds using the Overdrive app. And really what you're doing is you're using the website, because you're going to access the website through the app. So you're going to click on Holds from the My Account drop menu. And from there, the patron can click on Suspend Hold below the title that he or she wants to suspend. And then when they do that, they'll just click on the drop caret to select the number of days to suspend the hold. And then you click Suspend. And that's essentially how you get those things done. Next is Becky, and she's going to talk about marketing.
Actually, Misty, I'm going to go back to you while you're still up here, because we had two questions I think you can answer better. First one is suspend hold the same as deliver later? And then related to that, is there a number of times that you can use the deliver later feature per book?
I'm not aware of any limitation. I think you can continue to back it off. I know one of my items on my account, I have it suspended right now until like October, because it's for a book club and I don't need it yet, and it readied right away. So suspend, hold, and deliver later, essentially, yes, they are the same. But deliver later is what you do when the hold is readied and you weren't ready for it. So then you go into your account and you tell Bridges to deliver that item later, which essentially is suspending the hold. So they're connected, but a little bit different. And then suspend hold is if you're anticipating, like say you've got 5 things and you're next in line for all 5 of those things and you don't want them all to come, then you can suspend it before it's readied for you. So essentially they're the same, but how you interact with them is a little bit different. And then I do see that Shirley's asking, how can you change the suspend hold? You can, once you suspend it, you can unsuspend it if you want. It's easy to do. You just go through the same process, whether you use Libby or the Overdrive app. You go in and you manage that hold. And in Overdrive app, there's a little, you click on edit, and then you can have it be released from the suspension. And the same is true for the Libby app. You can, if you change your mind, you can have the suspension suspended. Were there other questions?
Those were the big ones. I
Okay.
tried to answer some in chat. We might have to have Sam go back through and scroll up and read some of the chat. I'm actually going to start off really quick because I know you started with the difference between the apps and everything, but we had a couple more questions come up. So one more time, Overdrive is the name of the company. When they first started, they had an app, and it was called the Overdrive app, and it uses that square with a little O in the middle of it. So there's a little bit of confusion there, because even though it's technically the name of the company, it's also what the app is called. They added the Libby app later on. So Overdrive is used by libraries all across the country to check out materials for their patrons. Bridges is what we call the consortium, where you all contribute money and then we purchase items for that, so we can all share this gigantic collection. So Bridges is the name of the consortium that contains all of the materials that you can check out. So I'll take you in a second here to the marketplace, and you can see everything that's on there. It doesn't matter if people are using the app or how they're doing it. When you're in marketplace, you're going to be able to get information for however people check things out from the Bridges collection. So hopefully that's a little bit clearer now. I think every time we say it, it gets a little bit more clear. All right, Eunice, go to the next one, and then these are going to happen pretty fast here. So there are lots of places where you can go to find information and some samples as well to help with your marketing. And I have been watching Facebook pages. I've tried to catch all of my libraries, and I see them coming through my Facebook feed. And some of you guys are doing really, really cool stuff. So what I'm going to talk a little bit about today are the places where you can find some of those, and you can all start doing more marketing on this. You're paying for this. It's a really great way for your patrons to be able to get access to this when they're stuck at home and you can't be providing your other things. All right, so Eunice, go through and just click those one at a time. I will take you to the Overdrive website, and we'll take a look at where you can get information there. We're going to do that in a second. Also, don't forget about Library Talk. I've seen a few of you post things on there that says, oh, by the way, I did this how to use the Libby app brochure, and you post it up in Library Talk. That's really great, and we appreciate you sharing things that way, especially now that Library Talk allows you to do attachments. The other piece I was going to say with that is be sure to tag Bridges when you do that, so that if people are looking specifically for Bridges help, and maybe marketing too, or some of the other tags that are in there, so that they can go back in and find that if you've posted something there. But I'm going to have another way in a little bit here. The State Library website, mine are in a different order, so it's a good thing I see them on the screen here. I'm going to also take you to the State Library website and show you where you can get some marketing things, and that will answer one of the questions that we had a little bit later on. And the last place is, it says new Google form. I created that last Friday. We've changed it. It's not going to be via Google anymore. It's going to be a new product that the State Library just purchased called Seamless Docs. Well, at least we think that's what's going to be the name of it. All right, so Eunice, if you go to the next slide, and then, so Overdrive has put together what they call the Resource Center, and it's resources.overdrive.com. And when you go to that, that's going to take you to this page, and it really gives you, the thing that I highlighted there is promoting your collections during all the closures that are out there. But this has been around for a lot longer than that. And so I hope even once we start opening back up, people remember that this is out here. So Eunice, if you want to stop sharing, I am going to go ahead and share my screen and take you out to those and show you. I'm going to just do the whole screen too, so then I can flip between them. So you get to see all the ugly stuff on my screen. So hopefully you are now seeing the marketing and outreach page. Is that right? Oh, sorry, it's really hard when chat is up here. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing that. So this is where you go when you go to that resources.overdrive.com. It's going to take you to this marketing and outreach. And then I actually had to click on library to get to this. It goes to this trending page. So you can see up at the top, you've got those 4 tabs: customized, trending, print ready, social, and outreach. So it goes to trending first. And obviously you can see up at the top here, they've got these kits that they have put together. They're really cool. Take a look at the library closed kit. You can take a look at it by just clicking on that, and it will give you the pieces that are in that. So you may have seen on other people's Facebook pages that "sorry, we're closed" sign. So you can do that, but then it talks about, I'm sure it's too small for you to see, but then it talks about the library is closed, our physical building is closed, but we still have 24/7 access to downloadable materials. So you can download any of these and they are all available for you to use. So that's just one. They've got a ton of them in that library closed kit. They have one. So these are things that you can kick out to your patrons or print or whatever on all of these issues. There's a see all button here, so you can get them all up at the beginning there. You can download them, find out what they are. The other thing that's really cool, and we'll look at this when we hit one of the other tabs, if you look over on the left there, you can see that they have bookmarks that you can print and hand out. So if you're doing curbside or if you're doing lunches, print out some of those bookmarks and pop them in some of those lunches. They've got posters and flyers. They've got tons of things for your website and other social media. They also have instructions and guides. I'm not going to talk about those today, but make sure to come back here and look for some of those. They even have stickers and tattoos in some of these kits, as well as iron-on transfers that you can do for, who knows, if you want an Overdrive t-shirt. So there's really cool stuff that's in here. The other thing, if we go all the way down to the bottom here, they even have a magazine marketing kit. So, we added magazines about 2 years ago. They have been really successful. So the State Library has contributed money. So we are going to continue purchasing those magazines, at least for a couple of years. And then at some point we may be asking, I think we talked about this earlier, with an increase over the next couple of years if we have to add that in there. But those magazines are there, and they're there to stay for several years now. So if you want to go ahead and promote those, the really great thing about magazines is they don't count against your limits. So patrons can only check out, and somebody will have to put in the chat, I think it's 3 items at a time. I'm not positive about that, but it's a limited number. But if they check out magazines, it doesn't count against that number. So that's a really good feature. They are also always available. So we could have 600 people check out the latest edition of Oprah magazine, or whatever, I don't know if Oprah is on there, but whatever magazine it is. So they are simultaneous use. So you can have as many people as want checking out those. So that's 2 really great things about magazines. So be sure to take a look at some of that marketing stuff that's there. The other thing I want to show you is some of the social media kits that they have. So they've got these, obviously aren't the ones related to closures, those are on that other page, but they've got a whole bunch of things here. Audiobook month. They've got all kinds of things that you can download to promote your downloadable collection for that. Things for National Library Week. Read, Return, Repeat. I'm not even sure what that one is. Libby must-have. So they've got things on getting your patrons to use Libby and understand how that works a little bit better. They even have promotional videos that you can link to and have on your webpage. So somebody calls the library and they're struggling with Libby and you're really finding it difficult to support that over the phone, because that is a different kind of support and that can be tough. You can have these videos available through your website and have them go and watch the videos then as well. So there's lots of really cool stuff there. The other one I just want to show you that I think is really fun, under the programming, under outreach, program and activities. I don't know if you can see this one. I'm not going to bother making it big, but they've got a bingo activity that's on here. So you can download that and pop that into a lunch bag or something like that. So there's lots of really cool stuff there. All right, Eunice, go to the next one then, and I'm not even going to see if it goes there because I'm going to show you what you see on the screen is not what it's going to look like anymore.
Becky,
So,
you need to stop the share first.
oh, Sorry. Well, never mind. No, we won't bother because they don't need to see it anyway because that's not what it looks like. So we're not going to look at that. I will just take you to the page here. What was on that slide was the old Google form. I had been thinking I would love to find a way for you guys all to share. I know, somebody in Atumwa did this really great bookmark, and somebody over here did this really cool social media post, and somebody else has a really good trifold on how to use Libby. And it would be really nice if we could put those all in a place where everybody could get access to them, because I know y'all share with each other. Kind of what we used the old Library Commons for. Some of you remember when that was around. We talked about using Library Talk, but that's sort of clunky searching for things. So I came up with this idea for this Google form. Turns out that doesn't work terribly well. So we are using something called Seamless. Let's see if I can find it now. Seamless Docs. And we are going to promote this link. So you will be able to click on this link. This is what the page will look like. And it will be for marketing bridges. It's a really simple form. We ask for your email address, we ask for your library name, and then you just pop in your idea, and then you can upload the file to it. So it's as simple as that. So if you have some really great marketing pieces that you would like to share with people, go ahead and use this once we start promoting it. We have a few more kinks to work out. So basically I've got just a description up here. Use it to describe the marketing and then upload it. What you get, let's see if I can get this out of the way here so I can see it. What we're going to get back, nope, not that, is, well, nuts, I don't know where it went. It's a PDF, and it basically shows everybody that information on the, oh, I know, duh. Okay, hang on. There we go. So this is what it looks like. After you submit, it shows us this. So you all will be able to see this. So I just stuck up an idea there. So here's an idea for a Facebook post. Call it, Did You Know? Did you know that Bridges gives you access to over 100,000 items, including books, audiobooks, videos, and magazines? So you can now take that because somebody else has uploaded it there, and then you can click on the uploaded file there, and what you will see, because I can't click to it from here, what you will see is what I uploaded from there. So really fuzzy, but I uploaded a chart that shows how many ebooks. So once I've uploaded that, you can now take that and put that on your Facebook page or on your website, so that it's a way that you guys can all share all those things with each other. All right, so let's see, we will go then. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this one, and we have already looked at that. One of the things that I wanted to talk about here really quickly in terms of marketing, you may not realize this, but Eunice has been working with our page to do what we call curated collections. So there is always something sort of at the top of the screen. So what she's been promoting recently are all the always available titles, because when new people come here, now they've got access to things that we know they're going to be able to check out. It's not the bestsellers that when they click on it, they're going to find out they have a 62-week hold wait for it. So it's got all of these things that are up here. So it also promotes Libby. So all those Harry Potter things that we now have access to, multiple copies at the same time, all of the options that are there will show up on the screen. The magazines are all available. So I just wanted you to be able to see that and sort of highlight that we've got this curated collections that are there. So here's where I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the reports that are out there. And I forgot to write down what the question was about reports. But when you go to the marketplace, it's marketplace.overdrive.com, you go ahead and click on Insights, and that will take you to this, which is why they don't call it reports, I don't know, but they call it Insights. And so it's got all of these reports. When the page comes up, it tells you automatically how many items were checked out in the last 30 days. So this is just sort of fun information. But the best thing is that you can then go over here and click on any of these holds. So I remember the question was, how do I know what my patrons are waiting for? So it's going to be one of these reports over here. So you're going to click on that. You can look at system-wide, so you can look at statewide. What is it, the #1 book that people are waiting for? We all know the answer is Where the Crawdads Sing. Well, I'm pretty sure. But that's the number one book. But you can actually pull that up and put up the top 10 books that people are waiting for, or the most checked out item from our Bridges collection. Use that to throw up in a Facebook post and let your patrons know what other people across the state are reading. Or that's where you also can find out what your patrons are waiting for. So lots of really great information on this page. Let's see if I got it all. Yep, collection size, statewide, do it by your branch. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that. And then the last one, oh no, I think I already actually did that. All right, so I think I hit all of the things. Oh no,
Hey,
one more, yes.
would you go back to that for just a second, Becky?
Maybe
There was somebody was asking about simultaneous use, and I thought maybe if we could just show them where
So
you
you want to go to the Bridges collection? Is that what you're?
no, to the overdrive.
Oh, to the market, to the
Yep,
report?
to marketplace. Yep. And there was a question a little while ago, and I knew you were going to marketplace.
Yes,
So
okay.
so if you're in the marketplace, if you click on shop,
Oops, sorry.
if you click on that caret by shop,
Yep,
would you do that?
I did, aren't I there?
No, just click on the drop caret.
The down arrow.
Oh,
Becky.
Yep,
sorry.
little down
I'm
arrow.
not listening.
Yep.
Yes.
And so then you can scroll down to simultaneous use.
Thank you. Sorry.
And then that's how you get there. And then if you look at the, well, the first ones are magazines. Would you scroll just a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at some of them, so like Britannica Digital Learning, they have one title of unlimited checkout. So you could choose one title. They're spendy. So just keep that in mind. I mean, they're hundreds of dollars so that you can, or sometimes over 1,000, so that you can have access to one title. It just depends on what you're looking for. But just as an example, so you can do one title for 6 months, you can do one title for a year, or you can do 25 titles, and then they'll give you, they'll give you a cost for that. So
you probably can't see this because it's small, but under the Britannica Digital Learning, for 25 titles, unlimited checkouts for 1 year, it's $3,500.
Yes.
So yeah, spendy.
Right. Yes, it's spendy.
All right. So
Sorry.
I think that, nope, that's good.
Okay.
So I think that was the last thing that I had then. Was I supposed to talk about anything else? All right, I'm going to stop sharing if I can, or did I already? Sorry, guys. I was all organized. There we go. My meeting controls just went away. There we go. Okay. So, phew, I went long. We all went long. We started late. So, questions? Is that where we're at now?
I think so.
We have a few questions in chat. I think some of these were addressed to one question about downloading and Wi-Fi. Some of my patrons have said that once the book or item is downloaded, then until they connect to Wi-Fi, it wouldn't be taken off their reading list. I have not experienced this. Some rural folks come into the library parking lot to download. Do you have any idea on that one?
As far as things staying on your reading list, that is true if I'm to a point. So if I'm reading something very long and I know I'm not going to finish it by the time it's due, if I turn the Wi-Fi off on my device, I can keep it longer. It will eventually realize that it's done, but it still gets checked in, but you have access to it for a while. Obviously, that isn't going to work if you're reading on a phone because you aren't going to want to put it in airplane mode. And it's not just turning off the Wi-Fi, it's having something in airplane mode. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work with all devices, but it does work with some.
I think we covered how to see only simultaneous availability titles. Is that right? You showed that in the
There isn't a way to only look at those.
Oh,
so
okay. So
you
no
can
way to only
identify
search.
something when you're looking at it, but there's no way to search for that.
What I asked Becky to show is how, if they were interested in purchasing, I thought I saw that somewhere, that somebody was interested in actually purchasing simultaneous use titles for their Advantage account, and so that's what we showed them. But like Eunice said, you really can't see the simultaneous use titles just by searching simultaneous use.
Eunice, do you want to answer the question about formats?
I was just going to type that, but sure, I'll do that. Excel would be fine. Excel is awesome for that, but Excel, Word, plain text document, CSV format, something like that, I have to be able to manipulate the numbers, and I can't do that with a PDF. No, you are not going to get interlibrary loan reimbursement for sharing Advantage titles.
We talked about it though, but it doesn't work.
There's a question here. I was late. How do we find out if we're part of Beacon? My previous director did not leave any information.
I'm not sure what she's asking.
Well, Beacon is a...
For that one, contact Jay Peterson.
Yeah, contact Jay. Well, Jay's here.
I was just getting on board. Go ahead, let me know. We'll figure it out for you.
And I'm just going to jump in because Sarah's in my district. This is Mary Ann. Sarah, I don't think your library is in the district that Beacon is. It's in a specific area, certain libraries in certain counties, and I think you're just beyond it.
Becky, there was a question when you were demoing your form. Can you upload multiple files at a time in that form or just one?
I believe you can do multiples, but it literally was created last night and I used it for the first time this morning. So I'm pretty sure when I uploaded the first one, it said, do you have any more you want to upload? Okay. So I think, I'm pretty sure that's a possibility, but we'll be working on that. By the end of the week, Tony and I have committed to getting it up there and ready to go. The biggest thing is we can't figure out how to make access to the information once it gets there, because there's some kind of wacky things there. We can do it in Google Forms. That's really easy to give you access to the folder. We're not quite sure how it's going to manage, how we're going to manage it with the seamless docs. But that, because that's the whole point. Once you upload it, we want it available for everybody else. So we're working on that.
When you're finished with that, sorry, Sarah, Beacon does not automatically upload patron numbers. There are some ILSs that do, notably Apollo. In most cases, people are either authenticating through their own system, which is great, or they're using our server for it. And those are all, anybody using our server has to manually send me their numbers for updating. Beacon does not do that.
Sarah's giving the thumbs up in video, so she's tracking. This is a question I wonder if some folks care to weigh in on, either in chat or maybe unmute yourself. How are you handling folks new patrons who are asking for a library card, either for your curbside service or for Libby? How are you handling it? If a new patron wants a library card, how can you do that when you're closed? You don't have an ID, they can't sign. So does anyone have any suggestions to weigh in on that, either any of our consultants or via chat?
I do know that some libraries have set up basically temporary cards that they're issuing to people, that so they would be able to use libraries' resources now with the intention that they will verify things more carefully once the library is open to the public.
And there's quite a bit in the chat too. Looks like most of the people are saying they just make the cards expire whenever their library reopens.
And actually, okay, sorry, and I just saw something go by. Cynthia is not using a range of numbers. I believe Cynthia has Apollo, and Apollo is one of those systems that they're authenticating through their system. So as soon as you add a patron to your system, it is updated there. I am no longer accepting ranges. We've got problems with that. And with the new system, I will have to have a specific list of numbers. So that will be changing.
This is Stacy from Carlisle, and talking a little bit about those temporary cards. We are kind of right in the middle of those two sizes, you know, of large and small, and I just had to basically say I can't do a digital card even though my system can do it, because I have too many people from outside that that are trying to get a card for Libby, and that's too complicated. And I've just basically said that you can drop off a form in the Dropbox, because I still have to check those, or email with that basic information, and then I just have a physical card here that I'm assigning to everybody, just one-on-one. For us little smaller libraries, we don't have the option to go digital, but we have digital cards on our website. Just having one person be in charge of it, especially for those who are using our Wi-Fi they don't have access to the internet. So I'm just making them for 3 months.
Eunice, do you have contact information for libraries who want to sign up for Advantage?
I just put it in chat. I'll do it again.
Oh, perfect.
It's at the marketplace.overdrive.com support.
I missed it.
Put it in again here. And when you click on that, it will give you the account information, how to contact all of them on the right-hand side.
Yes, and you will contact our account rep is Kate, who is, and you will actually be able to contact Kate. For those of you who have been contacting in the past, you know she's been on maternity leave. Yesterday was her first day back. So make her feel welcome and missed.
We will make sure that that link gets in the email that goes out to folks as well. And I don't know if there are any other links we want to make sure, in addition to the slides that go out. This is Sam. A deadline for updating numbers, Eunice, what is your target for that, or do they send them to you whenever they have them? You are answering the question really nicely. I'm sure your office plans appreciate
I forgot to unmute myself. Anyway, sorry. There will be a deadline for getting to the new system. What that will be yet. The priority now, though, is if I don't have your patrons, they can't be using Bridges right now when they're looking for it. So it's a customer service thing right now. So just get them to me whenever you have them. As I said, the best way to do it right now, especially if it's been a long time since you've updated, is to send me a complete list and we'll replace it. But make sure you tell me that you're sending me a replacement list so that I know it doesn't just get added to whatever else I have.
That is awesome. We are coming up. We've got about 5 minutes left for questions. We will make sure that contact info for Eunice gets included, as well as a couple other links that people have asked for in the email that goes out. So I also had one chat that came through asking, where is the other e-resources part of this session, which is titled Bridges and Other E-Resources? And that will be coming next week. So it will go, I'll put it up in the catalog. You can get registered. We're just finalizing kind of what our next couple crisis response conversations are going to be. So it is not currently in the catalog, but it will be soon. We will be talking about Wilson Web, the Foundation Directory, and Becky, what was our last one that we have on our radar right now?
We're just going to highlight all of the resources.
All the resources, yes. Yep, so be sure to come back for that. We'll have lots of great content there. I will be sending the SurveyMonkey if you want to earn continuing education for this session. Look for that. Those have been coming from the email address libcontinuinged@iowa.gov. So it's not coming from sam.bowers. It's coming from Library Continuing Ed. So look for that. And are there any other, oh, I do see one more question here about rural. People who should be able to use our bridges are people from our city and rural county. That'd be a good one to make sure we address here quickly.
Yes, so open access people are excluded from using your Bridges account. They should go to their home library and register for a card that way. So yes, your city, anybody that you contract with, and your rural people. So we know you have other people that come into your building that use your collection, but those people can use your physical items. They cannot use your downloadables. That's in the contract that we have everybody sign.
Okay, thanks for that additional info. Another person requesting ILL reimbursement for sharing advantage. I think that's something we can take and look at. So be on the lookout for an email from us. If you have any other questions, drop them in the chat. We'll hang out here for a couple minutes, but thank you everyone for coming.